How S3 is priced. There are multiple dimensions of pricing S3. There's storage dimension, there's data transfer dimension, there's number of requests dimensions. There are charges for transfer acceleration. There are charges for cross-region replication. I'll not discuss all because you can get the details here. First of all, storage. In storage, you know that there are multiple storage classes. We have standard infrequent access, and then glacier storage. For standard storage class, pricing is done at tier level. That means for the first 50 terabytes, you'll have to pay $0.023 per GB. For the next 450 terabytes, you'll have to pay $0.022 per GB. And then for the next 500 terabytes or more, you'll have to pay $0.021 per GB per month. For standard infrequent access, it is very straightforward. You'll have to pay $0.0125 per GB per month. For Glacier, $0.004 per GB per month. Let's take an example. Suppose you are storing 750 terabytes of data in S3. What would be your monthly cost? For the first 50 terabyte, it would be 50 into 0.023 into 1000 because $0.023 per GB. 1000 GB is equal to 1 terabyte. So into 50. Similarly, for the next 450 terabyte, it would be 450 into 0.022 into 1000. For the next $250, $0.021 into 1000 into 250. So it comes out to be $16,300 per month. The second dimension is number of requests. So number of requests can be put requests, copy requests, post list requests, and then get requests. Put request is when we upload data, and get request is something like when we download data. So this is not talking about the data which we are uploading, it is talking about the requests which are sent. That means if you are uploading one file, that would be one put request. If you are downloading say 3 files, that would be 3 get requests. For put, copy, post and list, the pricing is done at $0.005 per 1000 requests. And for get and any other request, it's $0.004 per 1000 requests. Let's say your S3 bucket is handling 150 million get requests per month and 500,000 put requests per month. So for 150 million, you'll have to pay $6, and for 500,000 put requests, you'll have to pay $2.5. As get requests are priced at $0.000 per 1000 requests, so 150 million by 1000 into $0.004, which comes out to be $6. Same is the case with 500,000 put requests. 500,000 by 1000 into 0.005 for put, which comes out to be 2.5. These are only the number of requests. Then we have data transfer. So the put and get, those are the requests. So when you are putting data, actually you are transferring data into S3, and when you are getting data, you are transferring data out of S3. Data transfer in from anywhere is free. That means if you are uploading data to S3, or putting data in your bucket, or putting files in your bucket, that would be free. But downloading files are not free. So data transfer out to internet or to anywhere is priced on a tiered level. First 1 GB per month is free. Next 10 terabyte per month is priced at $0.09 per GB. Next 40 terabytes per month is priced at $0.085 per GB. Let's take an example. Suppose from your bucket 80 terabyte of data is being downloaded. So how much price you have to pay? For the first 1 GB it is free. For the next 10 terabyte per month it's $0.09 per GB. So into 1000 because it is at per GB. Similarly for the next 40 terabyte and then for next 29 terabytes, because first terabyte is free, it comes out to be $6,330 per month. If you enable requester pays, then the account who is downloading data from your bucket, that account would pay this amount. If you do not enable requester pays, all these data transfer price will have to be paid by you along with the storage and requests. As I said, there are other prices also. Prices for transfer acceleration, cross-region replication, data transfer out to CloudFront. You can check the S3's pricing page for further details. There's not much to talk about with S3 design patterns. Let's see Amazon's online retail portal. As you can see, this is Amazon's online retail portal. You see there are a lot of pictures moving here and there. There are a lot of images throughout the page. If you click any one of the products, let's say this one, MacBook Pro, then you'll see other pictures and then prices and everything. So the pictures, prices, dollars, everything are static pages. So these are not changing. This will always be like this. The picture which is behind, or the image which is behind this picture, is actually a static image. That's a binary file. The image behind this is again a static image. If you think about YouTube, if you think about Amazon Prime or Netflix, companies which hosts video files and they render those video files to their users. Those video files are also static files. Those are being stored somewhere, but while watching, they render it over internet. So what you can do is, you can use S3 to store all these static images or static video files or photos. This is where S3 comes into picture. You can create a web page like this in a server, let's say an EC2 instance or any corporate data center. From there, whenever this page is trying to show this image, during that time, it will refer to S3 objects URL. So this is how you design web pages and website or use S3 for various purposes.